All right, all right. Let's go on and get to it. We off in the building, man. Just about to cook early this morning while we got some time. You know, it's about 10 o'clock over here on the East Coast. It is what it is. So let me go ahead and advertise this right now. Eventually, at some point, Get the Smoke. Shout out to Get the Smoke. Get the Smoke will be going live with his podcast. From my understanding, I think everything is on schedule for that. But speaking of Get the Smoke, we have Get the Smoke versus BVO in a legacy debate coming up this weekend, this Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. All right. The two guys, BVO and Get the Smoke, came up with the terms. They came up with the topic. I will just serve as moderator, and we will have two credible judges that BVO and GTS decided to do and invite as the judges. I am the moderator. I will be the host. I will not have any influence or impact on the debate itself. This is for the Undisputed Championship and $50. It was initially for one belt, but we're going to put all the belts on the line so that we can keep the pace moving. And GTS and BVO, you know, they issued the challenge. Hey, we was on a free smoke podcast with Get the Smoke, and then we came up with some good debate topics. Now, Get the Smoke is a Sugar Ray Leonard fan. BVO initiated the Floyd Mayweather implications into the debate. BVO wanted to talk about Floyd Mayweather. That's one of his favorite fighters. He also mentioned a couple of other ones. But BVO is comfortable with Floyd Mayweather, and he's willing to debate Floyd Mayweather's legacy and or position in boxing. Get the Smoke accepted the challenge. Get the Smoke then said, hey, I will take Sugar Ray Leonard. And that's how them guys came up with this debate. They came up with this topic and debate last Friday. We've been working diligently behind the scenes to make sure that everything is copacetic. We want to make sure that we get the rules and the understanding correct. This is good because I will be able to kind of enforce some structure in the discipline because I'm not debating and I am not a judge. For me, from my position, just to let you guys know, Get the Smoke and BVO will have an awesome debate because I am wearing the hat of host and moderator. Okay. It's just in my belief that you shouldn't be wearing multiple hats. That way you don't have to take notes. That way you can just focus on your job, right? You don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be a master of one. Okay. Don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be a master of one. Okay. And take some time to focus on what your job and your ability is. Now, to let you know, some of the judges, this is who they selected to collectively as a team. So again, when these debates happen, you won't get Zone 6 telling you what you can and what you can't do. We won't. It's gonna be different, and I'm gonna explain that to you now. And then we're gonna get to some Lopez versus Taylor talk, and some Wilder versus AJ, and some Terrence Crawford versus EJ. But the Wilder and AJ topic and the Terrence Crawford and EJ topic is gonna be a little different, because I got a question about, if you like Wilder, why not Terrence Crawford? If you like AJ, why not EJ? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna get on that in a minute, because there's kind of some weird dynamics there to me that I see, but I want to have a conversation about. And then as usual, I'll open up the panel, give you guys 10 minutes as I close out, and then you guys can do your thing. Another public service announcement is, hey, if you are interested and playing in the YouTube Sports Community Fantasy Football League, let me know. Some of the notable names that are confirmed that are going to be in the Fantasy Football League, 4-point PPR, 12-man roster, $50 buy-in for a cash prize, placing number 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. First place, second place, third place will get a prize. And we will divvy the money up in percentages based on what the league members and the managers kind of decide. Okay. Phil Walker, the Fix, is going to be in the tournament. Clark Dean is going to be in the tournament. Fantasy football, those two guys are experienced. I'm going to be in the tournament as well. And the commissioner of the league, Champ Ross, have agreed to it. Antonio MMA have agreed to it. And we got some other guys that's outside of the YouTube boxing community that I personally know. My boy Big Hill, he jump on the channel every once in a while. He's agreed to it. And we just waiting on guys to select the links and come on in. We got Zone Money, who's considering it. He's looking, but the spots are getting limited. It's only 12 managers that are allowed in there, and we're up to 6 and 7. And before I kind of open it up in about a week or two to other people outside of YouTube, I just want to get a YouTube sports community an opportunity to participate in fantasy football if you rock with it. And I know sometimes it takes days to get the video in your system, to hear the video, and to know exactly what the offer is. And I'm just putting it out. I'm giving you guys some time. I'm giving you guys about 2 weeks to kind of decide that, and then I'll move forward from there with the league. We will be keeping track of the Fantasy Football League. We will go live with some of the results. Me and Phil, the Fix, will be talking about it. Maybe we can even get Champ Ross in on here to speak on his piece about the weekly fantasy football matchups. Okay, so without further ado, let's continue to cook on some of this Get the Smoke and BVO debate. So again, those two guys decided what it would be and how it would be. I'm just the guy who sat back and listened to them come up with the subject matter. So that's how it became a debate, and those are the subjects. And I think it's a great subject. I think that it's a good conversation. It's a classic conversation. It's a universal conversation that's always going to be had. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Floyd Mayweather. It's just one of those things, man. Get the Smoke got Sugar Ray Leonard. BVO got Floyd Mayweather. June 11th at 3 p.m. Legacy debate. I will be the host. I will be the moderator. It will be blood boxing as a judge. That's what them two guys agreed upon. Big Blunts will be a judge. That's what they agreed upon. Shelton Moore is going to be a judge. That's what they agreed on. They already had the coin flip, so it's already understood that BVO will be going first. And the judges will render their verdict at the back end of the entire debate. We won't break and pause in the action to have guys render a verdict per round. It won't go like that. You're going to get a full body of work from both of the debaters. Okay? And we're going to do something a lot cooler than what I have done before. And I've talked to the debaters themselves, and this has been put together largely by me, Smoke, and the YouTube sports community guys back behind the scenes. And I think this is a good way to launch the platform and a good way to launch a debate. So this is what we got, just so you guys can kind of get an understanding on the structure, so it can be some consistency within the debate arena. This is an all-year thing. It's not seasonal. Only thing you guys got to do is drum up a debate, and then you go from there. But like I said, this is for Undisputed. So this is the recognized true champ across all platforms, period, point blank. And that's how it is. That's what it is. So the format is this. The two guys are going to get an opening, okay? And then they're going to get a rebut to the opening, right? The second leg, or we could call it the second round, once that first leg is completed between the rebuttals and the openings, what we're going to roll into is we're going to roll into a second round, and it's going to be really a clarity round to get an understanding on what it is that we're talking about. That means something new is going to be implemented. The judges get to ask the debaters questions. That way we know exactly what we're looking for. We know exactly what the debaters are saying. This gives the debater a chance to complete their arguments with sound logic. The judges get to ask questions, and it's done and it's completed until the judges have complete understanding on what it is that they're listening for to make real informed decisions about the information that has been received in the opening and in the rebut. So in this second leg, you're going to get the judges being able to ask questions. So obviously the judges have to show a level of competency in the shit. They got to be competent, right? They have to be understanding of the subject, and they have to kind of know what it is that they want to ask based on the information that has been presented. I think that's going to be a cool wrinkle in it. And I'm excited to hear maybe what Blood would ask, Big Blunts and Shelton Moore would ask either Smoke or BVO about their opening statements in their rebuts. That's going to be awesome. All right. On the third leg, you get a closing argument. Your close is your close, okay? Just for the record, BVO will be going first every time, okay? Because the coin flip suggested that. It was a legitimate coin flip. They all agree. So BV going to come in with his opening statement. Smoke is going to lay his opening statement. Then BV get to go ahead and rebut the opening statement of Smoke. Smoke then get to rebut the opening statement or whatever it is that he chooses to with BV. And then if there's leftover issues or questions or notes that these two guys want to address, they get to come into the second round with an open dialogue between each other. And then the judges get to throw in some questions as well, too. So the judges get to ask questions within the second leg, and they get clarity. And I will, as the moderator, we have agreed to open up questions for the chat. The chat will be allowed to throw questions in. So if the judges are content and full of the information that they have received and they yield and they have no questions, which Blood Boxing is going to be excellent for this, because Blood is going to ask some questions. He's going to get clarity, and I like that because Blood knows how to ask questions that is informative and conducive to both debaters as well as engage the chat. Okay, Big Blunts is going to probably have some good questions, and so will Shelton Moore. But I will also be in the chat. I will be highlighting questions and pausing for questions that I will ask in addition to that. We'll probably take 6 questions that are good, sound, and logical. As long as it ain't the same question that the judge asked, we'll go in there and we'll ask questions from the chat. Not silly questions, but questions pertaining and relating to the debate. Once we clear that off, then the third round is a closing argument, which BVO will give his closing argument first, and Get the Smoke will go second. That's how it flopped. So again, on Sunday, June the 11th at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, and 3 o'clock, okay, Eastern Standard Time, right? That's what it is. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. 12 o'clock noon, Pacific Standard Time. All right? So I look forward to this. It's $50 on the table, some cash prize in there involved for their time. For the two debaters, it's winner take all. The winner take the $50 and the belts, and then we can recycle this around, and we can consolidate the divisions within debating in the belts. And once we go from there, we're going to legitimize it with a cash prize in the belts, and we're recognizing the undisputed champion, whoever that may be, between BVO and Get the Smoke. And this is a good way to kick this off. This is a year-round series or an system, so everybody can participate. But just know, once one of these champs get the belts, it's their obligation to defend it. And every time it get defended and it gets set up properly, I would throw the cash prize in there, and it would also be the belts will always be on the line. Now, just for the record, if one of the debaters decides, so we can get this clear now, they decide to go anywhere else outside of the sports community, we're not limiting anybody to that. The belts won't go with you, but you can debate on any other platform, and you can do what it is you choose to do with the rules and regulations on any other platform or any other systems that you decide to. We're not limiting you that way. We just want you to just make sure that you understand that this platform is where the belts are. This is where the undisputed championship is, and anything else outside of that is up to you to engage in or enjoy however you choose to do for leisure. But the belts will only be online over here on the neutral platform. I will be the host. I will be the moderator, and anybody that does decide to get involved, you could contact your opponent, and you guys get to pick your judges. I have no say in that. Whoever you bring, all three judges, however it is. But remember, when you bring those judges, though, it will be the same format. There will be an opening for both combatants. There will be a rebut for both combatants. There always will be a opening second leg so that the judges can ask questions, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious to see, my shout out to Bruce Gas. I would love to hear Bruce Gas be a judge so he can ask those questions on that second leg. And I think that's an interesting feature. So that way we get clarity on the information. And then again, like I said, not to sound redundant, but just to repeat for clarity, in the third round, there will be a closing statement. Whoever loses the coin toss or win it, they get to decide whether they want to go first or whether they want to go last. But just be mindful. Whatever you decide, whatever judges you bring, make sure that they understand that there's a second leg. Now, the judges don't have to ask anything, because I'm going to still ask questions from the chat so the chat can participate. You know what I'm saying? I would decide as the moderator, I will control the chat, and the judges will control their own selves and their questions. That way everybody is fair. That way I ain't got to write and listen. I can just listen and enjoy and make sure that the thing don't go off the rails. The judges can listen and take their penmanship down. And once they get their notes, then I can go into the chat and kind of engage the chat and say, hey, man, this person got a question for Get the Smoke, and this is the question that he got. And I'll write them down, and I'll be focused on that. So just remember, chat, you guys can engage. You guys can ask questions. But it can't be, stuff non-related to boxing, like, how's the weather in California, Get the Smoke. That's not going to be a good one, right? But anybody that's going to, let's say, for instance, you want to have your question highlighted and answered, we're going to do it from there, all right? And we're starting off with this being fun. Now, let's move forward past the debate. Shout out to Get This Smoke and BVO for setting that up properly. And we'll get to that on Sunday and have a conclusion on that on Sunday. Briefly, Lopez and Taylor, right? The fight that's coming up. This is obviously a big fight. Lopez has been saying a lot of crazy stuff to some people in their opinions. And a lot of people just not feeling Lopez right now. I'm rooting for Taylor. I think Taylor should win. Taylor's the man at 140. We obviously know he was undisputed, and he, got stripped and things of that nature. 140 is pretty hot, but we all know that Josh Taylor is the man up there. And I'm rooting for Josh Taylor. It's really nothing too deep to talk about on that fight until the results come out, right? So we'll see what happens when the results are in, and then we'll come back and revisit where does Taylor fit in history, whether he go from there, where does Lopez go from there, and all the good fun stuff that we like to talk about after the fight. But I got Lopez losing the fight. I got Taylor winning the fight. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Lopez is a pretty cut and dry boxer. Taylor's a pretty cut and dry boxer. And this is at 140, which is a hot division that's heating up. And we know what Taylor do. We know what Lopez do. We know what Lopez has said. We know what Taylor has said. And the fight is on the horizon. So we'll get to see what it is and what it ain't. And then we'll revisit this conversation probably on a Saturday before the debate between Get This Smoke and BVO. All right. So those are the new tournament rules. or if you want to call it, those are the new debate rules, and those are the systems, and that's the way we're gonna go by. Okay, again, an opening round with a rebut. The second round is going to be the judges get to ask questions. That is going to be awesome. The chat, be here. This is why I want you to be here for this debate. Be here for this debate between BVO and Get the Smoke, because I am taking questions from the chat. In the second leg of the debate, Blood Boxing get to ask questions to Get the Smoke. Blood Boxing get to ask questions for BVO for clarity and conciseness. Big Blunts get to ask, and so does Shelton Moore. I will not ask anything. The judges get to ask for clarity, as many questions as they have based on the points that were made from both of the debaters. And then what I will do is I will start highlighting questions that pertain to the debate that people get to ask. That way the chat get clarity as well. So that way we have no mistakes. Now, what we're going to do is, I've got to say this. In the chat, because you get to ask questions, spread this word, because I know some people will miss the video that's explaining this, and then they'll come on the channel and be like, oh, I didn't know. Well, here's your chance to listen to me. I'm doing a video today, so that way you got over 48 hours to listen to the shit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go offline, right? What I'm saying is I'm going to go offline up until Sunday. I'm not going to stack any more videos on top of this, because I do understand that sometimes, the videos get pushed down, right? And it's just not convenient to watch. I'm telling you right now, I will not do anything on my channel until 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the debate. Okay? I will put the community page. I will give you more information on when the debate is on the community page. And then you could also refer to Get This Smoke. All right? So again, this is interactive. In the second leg of this debate, unprecedented, like no one has ever done in the YouTube sports community. We're doing it different. We're going to do it real debate style. We are going to have the judges ask questions for clarity. That shit going to be hot. We're going to have the chat ask questions based on clarity and informative information based on the debate. That's going to be hot. Now, what I have to do, and I got to make this clear, do not give away tips and what shoulda, coulda, woulda in the chat. You guys are responsible. I know you guys don't do that. Hold your tongue, because this is not your debate. You just are sitting back as a standbyer, listening, learning, and posing your questions. Okay? And if you feel like, hey, man, you know what? I think I want to get in there and I want to face the winner. Again, you have that opportunity. Just call the person out. We'll set it up, and the debaters get to decide everything. You get to decide, obviously, the platform is here. Obviously, I'm the moderator. Okay? I have no influence on the judges or no influence on the chat. The only thing that I will be doing in the chat is reading the questions after the judges get done answering their questions on the second leg. The third leg will conclude, and the third leg will be the closing arguments between both debaters. Okay? So get your questions in, after the first leg, right? Obviously you want to hear what the opening is. And then what'll happen is I will put something in chat like, hey, open the debate now is open for questions. Don't come in. Don't do me a favor. Don't come in here being like kind of all over the place. Don't come in trying to debate in the chat. Don't try to give away tips in the chat. I know you guys are a lot more disciplined in that, so I think we shouldn't have to really get on that too much, because you're gonna get to ask a question, and I will go through as many questions as I can within reason and within logic, right? Based on how smooth and fluid the debate will be moving. Now, every debate is not created equal. So we're going to see what Get the Smoke says, and we're going to see what BVO says. Now, here's the thing about these questions. When I ask the questions from the chat, I'm not critiquing what you're saying. I'm just going to ask the logical sound question, and that's going to be for the debaters to respond, and the judges get to take that in, and the judges get to go ahead and make their response based off that. I have no influence on that whatsoever. So I will be moderating. I will be here early as usual. I will have the comment section open. We don't do wrenches over here. We don't want anybody blocked out, timed out. And we're going to go ahead and knock this debate platform off within the YouTube sports community, right? All right. So now, back to Josh Taylor. I got Josh Taylor winning. I hope he win. I predict that he win. I agree with all the content that's been created on Josh Taylor winning. I don't know where Lopez is at mentally. I just don't know where he's at socially. There's a lot of instability within what he has going on within himself. So I will leave that to the fight itself on the night. Now let's move forward. This one thing I've been kind of contemplating. Wilder versus AJ. Who do you got winning? Wilder versus AJ. Who do you guys got winning? I got Wilder winning, right? EJ is fundamentally sound, a lot more technical than Wilder. AJ is way more methodical in his approach. AJ is in incredible shape. AJ comes in and does his thing, right? Wilder has been questioned about his level of opposition in which he knocked people out, right? But he knocked people out. He got power and he's doing his thing. He's an undersized heavyweight. Sometimes some people would consider that to be the case, right? He's long, he's lanky. He got very, very similar dimensions to Terrence Crawford. AJ got very, very similar dimensions to EJ. I have Wilder beating AJ and I have Terrence Crawford beating EJ because of the same dynamic, because of the same temperament, because of the same intangibles. They're similar, but they're not exactly the same. Wilder's kind of a smaller guy as opposed to AJ. Wilder usually be about 119. Maybe on a good night, he's 130 if he got on the suit. AJ usually hover around about 260. Did I say one? I mean, Wilder hovers around about 219 pounds, 220 pounds. I just want to make sure I got that right. AJ hovers around 250, 260. AJ is now trained by Derrick James. EJ is trained by Derrick James. But the stuff that you guys argue on why you consider EJ to be better than Terrence Crawford is kind of confusing to me because you still don't pick AJ over Wilder, right? So my question would be, how do you got Wilder beating AJ, but you got EJ beating Terrence Crawford? To me, that kind of just don't match up. I know the two fights are different, but that's just some observations that I have. Because I just know I have Wilder beat AJ and I have Terrence Crawford beat EJ. And EJ or AJ both are trained by Derrick James. I don't think that's going to do anything for either one of them in a fight with a Terrence Crawford or Deontay Wilder. Wilder's be knocking people the fuck out, and Terrence Crawford been knocking people out. People question who's Terrence Crawford knocked out, but people also question who Wilder knocked out, right? So when we start talking about this, what is the issue? Now, a lot of people will say that AJ is mentally weak. Okay, but if we're going to say that, then I have to incorporate the fact that maybe EJ is too with the drinking and the lack of discipline, right? So we got some similarities here. I'm not saying they're twins, but it is the same. It's just that you wouldn't want your contradictions pointed out, right? Wilder is lanky, dark, long, fast twitch muscles. Can't box like Terrence Crawford, of course not. And AJ boxed better than EJ. It's just that EJ is just a little bit more. He considered more to be a little tougher than AJ, so I can understand that. But I'm not sure about that. AJ has incredible discipline. The mental fortitude may not be there, but EJ might have a mental fortitude, but the discipline is not necessarily there. So I hear what you're saying, but it both is both mental. EJ mental is questionable and AJ mental is questionable for me. So both of them are questionable against two guys that are devastating punchers. So in the proposed matchup against Wilder, How do you got Wilder over AJ, but then you got EJ over Terrence Crawford? It seems like there's a thread of contradiction there. And I think people are full of shit. I think people are bullshitting on this boxing. I think it's just propaganda and nonsense. Because, see, I know that most people hate AJ because of his ties to the UK and what the UK guys have said and this and that and the third. But AJ is the same guy who's had 3 belts. The same thing with EJ. EJ's had 3 belts. AJ has argued to have more of a credible resume than what Deontay Wilder. And same thing with EJ and Terrence Crawford. It is definitely the same. It's just that people don't want it to be the same because they don't want to point out the contradiction in their bullshit. Scratch a line, you'll find the thief. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the link in here so we can see if anybody gonna jump on here and explain to me what's the difference. Because I don't see the difference. I just want to know why you guys are coming up with different philosophies and principles for different fighters. Well, Wilder and Terrence Crawford are very, very similar. They're not twins, but they're very, very similar. AJ and EJ are very, very similar, especially with the pairing of Derrick James. Heavier fighter. You know, outside of AJ not being a southpaw, you know what I'm saying, and EJ being a southpaw, that's a difference, right? Terrence Crawford is a switch hitter, and Wilder is not. So let's get True Speaks in here so we can get what he got to say. Go ahead, man. Speak your piece.
Hey, what up, man? Salute to the channel. Salute to you, man. Yeah, I completely disagree, man. That EJ and AJ comparison is completely off, man. So, like I was saying in the comment section, Errol, like I said, if you want to talk about he made poor decisions or, you know, he had a riotous life, you know, doing everything like that, got you. But he still overcame that, came back, and only fought top competitions to unify the division. We paralleled that with AJ once he lost to actually it started off with what's her name? Ruiz. You could see his mental start breaking, start cracking, and then and obviously he got back on the rematch. You know, he was kind of like a shell of himself because he just wanted to make sure he won. And then the Usyk fight, that you asked me, that was the final nail in the coffin, because then you can't tell me a rational person reacts in the same manner that he did after that second Usyk fight. So as far as the mental fragility, AJ's definitely lower, which is susceptible. Now, like I said, the X factor is Derrick James. How much of that coaching is AJ actually absorbing from Derrick James? If he's, you know, bought in 100%, going in, you know, lunch pail, getting everything done, then that's going to spell trouble, because Derrick James know how to make adjustments, and he already prepped an AJ for that right hand anyway. So that, like, it's just dependent on that. But I do got AJ Wilder stopping AJ, but that Bud comparison I can't get with.
Right, I understand you couldn't get with it because it's in contradiction to what you would predict, right? So that's fair. Like, I understand that if you select EJ as the victor over Terrence Crawford, and I get on here and say they're the same, of course you wouldn't recognize the contradictions because it would contradict you. But we can break it down. We're going to get to the bottom of it today. We're going to find out what you say live, right? So why wouldn't it be comparable when we're talking about Wilder, who's heavyweight? I didn't say they were twins. I didn't say this is a exact replica of the same thing. I said they're comparable. You're saying that they're not at all. So when you look at the dimensions of Wilder, just we're talking about dimensions, and we can go through the accolades. We can go through all the stuff you want to here right now. We don't have a problem with that. I got time. So when you look at Wilder and Terrence Crawford, they have similar dimensions. They both are considered to be a little bit undersized for the weight division that they're fighting in. They both have a good right hand. They both got power in both hands. They both have been getting some questionable knockouts based on the competition, but they have performed against the competition. When you look at AJ and EJ, they have similar dimensions. They are the heavier guy, you know, kind of blocky. They're kind of robotic and methodical in their approach toward boxing. Straight up and down, no special effects between the two. So when we look at why we pick Wilder, why do we pick Wilder? We're saying, okay, AJ has shown me mental weakness. Okay, but he still has discipline. I can give you that. EJ has showed me a lack of discipline, although he has mental fortitude. They're still kind of one and the same when you look at psychology. One guy has a lack of discipline, and we question the heart of another guy. And both of those will play a role in a fight with two esteemed knockout artists that we have questions about because of who they fought. Because if you get on here, you bring one of the UK boys on here, they're going to argue with you that AJ wins against Wilder because Wilder hasn't knocked out anybody, right? So we've seen Wilder lose a fight, or two fights actually. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen Terrence Crawford have some some slip ups in the ring. Kowalski's put him down on the canvas. But to suggest that they're not similar, I would like to hear you explore more on why they're not similar or comparable at all.
I mean, when you break it down, as far as that conceptually, when you talk about kind of like the dimensions and how they are in the division, I definitely understand that comparison. But the thing when you're saying EJ isn't disciplined, like I feel like we're ranking his past too hard against him. I mean, we're not doing the same to Bud, and Bud's been shot before, but we don't bring up that error in judgment or decision making. Yes, we can say EJ had a point in time where discipline wasn't the best. He had a whole fat camp in order to make weight and everything. But since the accident, I mean, you can't tell me that he hasn't corrected the ship and been more disciplined in his focus towards boxing. Like I said, we can't really say the same about AJ. Simply put, I mean, if we want to, I understand if we're talking about, like I said, when it comes to Derek James, because we got to see he's under a new trainer right now, and I mean the Franklin fight wasn't too much to go on. That was just a warm up, tune up. So we'll see what he actually takes hold to coaching.
Okay, so they are comparable in some regard, right? So it is not far-fetched that they can't be compared, right? That's okay. So we're breaking it down now. So they have the same trainer. They're literally in the same camp around the same people. So why wouldn't AJ and EJ be comparable even in the training block? Now, do I expect both of these guys to be twins and fight exactly the same? Probably not. But do I think Derrick James will have an impact and an influence on AJ that is similar to EJ? Yeah, absolutely. So therefore, to me, that's another comparison to me in my mind. And if we're giving credit to Derrick James to suggest that, one element in EJ's being able to beat Terrence Crawford is the fact that he has a world-renowned trainer in Derrick James. That metric got to have some merit when you go against AJ versus Wilder. Like, that's another comparison. That's another similarity. Do you still disagree with that, or would you agree to that?
I see where you're going, but when you're talking about having the same trainer, it matters on the student, on the pupil. You can teach two people the same thing and they will apply it two different ways. We can even look at this with Demel and Spence. Even though they have the same trainer now, how their fighting styles are completely different. So you can't necessarily say just because the trainer gives the instruction for both fighters, that means that is some type of comparison. The students are the students. You tailor your message or your lesson towards the students. Now, the knowledge and the instruction being given, yeah, sure, that's coming from the same fountain, but over here it may taste a little bit different versus on the other side.
So the reality is that because they have the same trainer and then in the same camp and getting the same lessons, that does make it comparable. You're just talking about the application. I acknowledge that these two guys are not the same person. I'm talking about comparability, right? I'm not talking about twins. I'm not trying to marry these guys together and say that they are exactly the same. So therefore, everything I say is 100% accurate all the time as it applies to both. No, I'm saying that it's very comparable. And I'm asking if it's so comparable and it's comparable enough. I'm just pointing out what's the stylistic contradiction and result of your prediction of the fight. So let's do this. So Derrick James being both of their trainers, them both being in the same camp is not comparable. It's not comparable to one of the other. They got to be comparable. If they have the same trainer that's giving them the same tools or similar tools, that has to be comparable.
Like what as far as comparable, as far as what? Because I'm assuming we're not talking fighting style. So are you talking about comparable as far as the instruction being received? Because I mean, I'm not going to say that Derrick James is going to do this exact same stuff that he would do with AJ that he's doing with EJ. Yeah, the coaching or the instruction, like I said, may come from the same fountain, but it's may be applied different ways to a different fighter. Like I mentioned about Mel and EJ. Like, he's not going to, even though it's the same fountain, he's not training Jermell the same way he's training EJ.
Right. And outside of Jermell, I get what you're saying about that. We're talking about EJ, AJ. And I know you're saying that they're coming from the same fountain and they could taste the same. I get that analogy. And I'm acknowledging that we can move past that because no two fighters are created the same. Obviously, they're not the same because they're not the same person. We get that. We're talking about it being comparable. So you're acknowledging that they both are in they're both in the same classroom. So for instance, you and I got the same instructor and we're taking the same class and the same subject. We're taking history. Of course, obviously you're going to have a different outcome in your studies than I would, but we have access to the same information. And obviously we would apply different to get our own result, which would be a grade. That's what they're doing. But we're still in the same educational space. Derrick James is the trainer of both. So how is that not comparable?
So, like, to continue the classroom analogy, let's just say the learning style. Like, if you're more tactile or kinetic learner versus I may be an auditory or a visual. So therefore, it's your learning style and how you process and receive information. If we want to talk about also their fighting styles, the only thing I could see as far as being a through line or a comparison point is the jab. But outside of that, AJ is not really trying to, wrestle and fight on the inside versus that's, EJ's bread and butter. So even then, like as we outside of the jab, we start, creating the lines of demarcation from there.
So right, we were gonna get to jab. So you just jumped ahead, which is great. So now we are comparing. We understand that the dimensions are similar. We already conceded that point. We now implement the jab. We both know they have a sound, logical jab. So they're comparable in that way. So now that we know that they got similar dimensions, their styles are not too far from each other, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not like Earl Spence is going to be up on his toes and, AJ is going to be up on his toes. None of these guys are Muhammad Ali. They're kind of that in-fighter, patient, methodical fighter, right? They kind of lead on the front foot. And what it is that the jab is comparable. The dimensions are comparable. So we're chopping down what makes them comparable. And I'm hearing a lot of comparison. And you're acknowledging that as well, too. So we got to get back to this Derrick James. If you and I are in the same classroom and I ask you what time you got history, using the classroom analogy, and you say 11 o'clock and I got 11 o'clock, our schedules are comparable. The time and space and where we at is comparable. Okay, I know Black Truth. I got you. I know you're going to be back. I'll put the link back in here and you're on the call. So we'll just pause that so he could after he get off his call, he could keep on cooking. But it's open for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not just open for Black Truth. And we'll get to it. All right. So, yeah, my point is that Deontay Wilder and Terrence Crawford are very, very comparable. Very, very comparable. AJ and EJ is very comparable. Are they the same? Absolutely not. Are they twins in nature? Yes, I think these two fights are parallel or in twinned like universes, right? If you were to design, if I was to say what is the equivalent to Wilder versus AJ, if I had to pick any fighter in boxing, anybody in the whole game of boxing, and I ask you guys what two fighters are comparable to Wilder versus AJ, or what two fighters are comparable from Terrence Crawford versus EJ, you would say Wilder versus AJ. You would say Terrence Crawford versus EJ. They're mirrored fights. They obviously in different weight classes, but they're very, very comparable. So my question would be is, if they're very, very comparable, what nuances, and I know they can be small, but what nuances are you guys and what metric are you guys using to say Terrence Crawford is going to lose to EJ, but you got Wilder beating AJ? That's the question. But first, we got to get through making sure that we understand that they're both comparable and that we break that down. And we already understand that me and Black Truth is saying we agree that the jab is there, that it's comparable, that is similar, that's stylistic, that's an output. Okay, that's a physical, tangible that AJ and EJ both have that are comparable, which is the jab. They both have the same trainer. They're in the same classroom. They might apply it different. They may apply it different, but they're comparable. We're saying the dimensions between Terrence Crawford and Wilder, AJ and EJ are comparable. So we're still breaking down that it's comparable. It is comparable. Go ahead, Black Truth. You got it.
Yeah, as far as in the concept of it, as far as like them being a little longer, the thinner and everything, and as far as the trainer with AJ, like I said, when we talk about like the range that they fight in, even though you said they do use the jab, AJ more tries to get on his toes and stick to the outside while EJ's trying to obviously work his way in. So that's why I say they can be. If we're saying they're in the same classroom, have the same teacher, but how they apply that knowledge and also how they receive that knowledge is the key difference between the two. That's the difference between an honor roll student who, the teacher just says it once and they grasp it versus the one that needs a little extra tutoring and everything. Even though it's the same information being received, it's the time that's being dedicated or spent with that to continue the classroom analogy.
Absolutely. So that makes them comparable. The result now, I'm not saying that these guys are so similar that they're going to net the same result. They're going to net and gain the same outcome. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that these guys are comparable. And what I'm trying to figure out is, since they're so comparable, now that we acknowledge that, I just want to know from a person who is picking Wilder to beat AJ, because I got Wilder beating AJ, and a person who would pick EJ over Crawford, I'm trying to see where is the outlier in that, because I would pick Wilder over AJ and I would pick Terrence Crawford over EJ because it just seems comparable to me and similar to me. So I'm trying to see, why would you pick AJ? Why would you pick Wilder over AJ as opposed to Terrence Crawford over EJ, if you mind sharing that?
So if we're talking about, like we already mentioned this, the level of competition, even though, like, we will admit Wilder's competition is, if you want to say, is suspect or anything of that nature, there's one name that that is irrefutable, and that's Tyson Fury. Terrence Crawford, to all of his credit, doesn't have a Tyson Fury on his record. So and even though Wilder went up against him and lost and everything, you saw, he was able to land his shot when he wanted, not when he wanted to, but he was able to land his shot in succession multiple times to knock down a Tyson Fury. And so you're looking at somebody else who's been stopped before, who should, shown that mental fragility, that mental weakness. Like I said, he may be able to keep up, but once he gets hit with that shot, how will he respond? And again, we see this with the Ruiz fight, how AJ responded with getting hit with that shot. And then, truth be told, and now we're looking at an AJ whose mental has declined severely since that Ruiz fight. That's kind of the difference versus we're looking at Bud. Yeah, knockouts at welterweight, all that other stuff. But who has he fought? He doesn't have the arguable best at the weight division like Wilder does. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But outside of Tyson Fury, right? So we could argue the resume. We could get to that and comb through that too. We got time. So if the thought process is that Fury solidifies Wilder as a opponent that I guess prepares him for a victory over AJ. What people assumes about Wilder, and I don't, is that he hasn't fought anybody. Therefore, his knockouts are conflated or inflated, right? And Terrence Crawford is getting the same exact treatment. You're saying that you just said he hasn't fought anybody, while acknowledging that Wilder is known to have not fought anybody outside of Tyson Fury, and he got stopped twice, right? Let's stop there. Now, Terrence Crawford is knocking people out. And why wouldn't that metric apply to EJ? Because he has been knocking people out. Because I think that Wilder has been knocking credible people out. And I think Terrence Crawford has been knocking credible people out. I don't think there's a lapse in the performance. I don't hold your performance against you. It doesn't matter. It's a grown professional boxer. I think they are credible knockouts. So going into the AJ fight with the lack of discipline and mental fortitude, I think Wilder would knock him out. And I don't know if he would kind of get over that. I think the same thing applies to EJ with the lack of discipline, and I would argue a lack of mental fortitude. And I know he's tough, right? But I don't think EJ has the mental fortitude that people say is. And I don't understand how a knockout artist cannot exploit that in Terrence Crawford. But you think you think Wilder can exploit that against AJ? That doesn't make sense to me.
So in the example, when we're talking about a KO artist, I'm gonna use this name. So we're gonna talk about Edgar Berlanga. You know, all knockouts, all first down. You know, people taught him as a KO artist. But what happened as soon as he stepped in there of somebody of similar or close to ilk in Angulo? What happened? We saw Edgar Berlanga completely lose his mind and start biting the dude. Why? Because he was being truly tested. Now, when we talk about, you know, Terrence Crawford, I mean, you can say they're comparable. I mean, they're fighters at the end of the day, so they deserve respect. But we're not going to say that these were the cream of the crop fighters that he was fighting. You know, we're not gonna sit here and say that this his resume, like a Jose Benavidez, people was beating down the door to, you know, get in line to fight him, or that David Avanesian. We're not going to say these things. But when we go back to the Wilder point, Tyson Fury is the top of the food chain. Yeah, Usyk has all the belts, but he is the top fighter of the heavyweight division. We cannot say Bud even has that experience at 47, even though, yes, it's been all knockouts and everything. Another example, Zurdo Ramirez, 44-0, beautiful record. And what happened when he got in the ring with Bivol? A complete destruction, So it's not necessarily what you did with those other guys. It's when you step in with somebody of similar ilk as yourself.
And I'm gonna let you slide in here too, because I know you just jumped in, so you can get some airtime and we can rotate it around. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're using the resume, but I disagree with you about the resume completely. So to go down that slippery slope is going to be tomato, right? You may say Terrence Crawford haven't fought anybody. I disagree. People may say Wilder hadn't fought anybody. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, so we can't really slide down the question of what you're talking about, right? The claims that you're laying forth. I think they both have fought credible people. Terrence Crawford fought some of the similar people that EJ has fought. And then we're going to get into the when, where, and how game.
Hey, is that just me or he cut out? You cut out, Brody.
Who, me?
Yeah, you cut out for a minute. For like a little minute, bro. I don't know if it was me or you.
Yeah, no, that was probably you, Taco. So me and Truth is we clicking. So
okay, yeah. I heard you talking about the resume part, and then because that's what I was going to kind of like come on and talk about, because I was just going to be on for a second. My thing is,
okay, I'm gonna let you get to the resume right now. I'm gonna let you do that. So, Truth, I don't agree with you on the resume with Terrence Crawford and Wilder. I think Wilder has a good resume with great performances, and I think Terrence Crawford has a good resume with great performances, which will lead me to believe that EJ and AJ will both lose the fight because they're comparable. Now, I'll let Taco come in on the resume and explain that and get into that. Taco, go ahead. You got it.
All right. The one thing what I want to talk about the resume part, the one thing it is that when y'all say Spence resume in a competition, but his competition that already had losses. So to me, it's like then when people want to say Crawford fought EJ leftovers, well, everyone that EJ fought have been a leftover. So I'm just saying, like, it's just like y'all making it seem like, oh, when EJ fought him, they was at their top best. They was at their best. But when Bud fought him, they wasn't. Like, and that's far fetched because to me, a person coming down 2 weight classes off of eye surgery is way worse than a person coming down from 1 weight classes, especially if people want to talk about they know about boxing. I don't know if we had heard of any too many boxers that came down 2 weight divisions after eye surgery and had a fight like that. Like, you feel me? So Danny Garcia had already lost every big fight at 47. I don't even know how he was ranked the top 47 fighter because I forget who he beat at 47. Ugas had multiple losses. We could say that Manny Pacquiao took a lot out of Ugas because shit, he did not look the same in that Earl Spence fight. You know what I mean? So when people want to say about this competition, I don't like that shit, and they try to make it seem like when Bud fought him, it was leftovers. But look, nobody said nothing about Pacquiao. When Pacquiao fought all of Floyd Mayweather's leftovers, they just try to say Pacquiao got a better resume than Floyd Mayweather. They don't bring up that Floyd Mayweather beat down everybody who Pacquiao beat first. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't agree with the resume point because sometimes that's how you rank fighters. That's how you figure out who could beat who sometimes, especially if the fighters haven't fought, is by the people who you fought and what he did with him when you fought him and what he did with it. That's the only thing you can go by. Now, we could go by when Earl Spence fought Sean Porter. Sean Porter down there came off arguably loss to fucking Ugas. People thought that Ugas actually won that fight with that knockdown. So you feel me? He down there even lost that fight. But I'm gonna say he had a good fight against Sean Porter. I can say that Cal Brook and Sean Porter was Earl Spence two step up fights. And none of those fights was probably rated as 50-50. I bet you Earl Spence went in there as a favorite in both of those fights. So it wasn't like it was a 50-50 fight. So really, how tough is the competition? You see what I mean? Like we don't know. You can't say when Bud fought him he was passive, but when Spence fought him he was passive because when Spence fought the people they already had losses. But that's all I wanted to say, bro. Like I just don't like that resume shit talk, bro, because like that shit is irritating. That's all I wanted to come on and say, bro.
All right, Taco. So, hey, you heard it, Black Truth, and that's why I'm leaning away from the resume because your interpretation or some people's interpretation may be different. I don't know what you consider to be good and what's not. We could tackle that. But you want to respond to that? I know Taco's listening, but you go ahead. You can respond to that if you like.
Yeah. So I'm not even trying to get on the Bud versus Spence resume. I only brought up the resume as far as your experience in the ring. Now, I never said Wilder didn't fight anybody. If you look up his opponents, again, his opponents were his mandatory. So in the WBC, there were his mandos versus you see Crawford take a lot of voluntary defenses. And if you look at the number at where those guys were ranked at the time in the WBO, which is Bud's division, there were other credible names that he skipped over to get to them. That's what that. So, but like I said, y'all trying to go on the resume tangent. That's not what I'm going. It's about experience in the ring. But if you haven't been fighting the top level competition, we're not going to sit here and say that Bud is fighting the top competition at welterweight. Like that would be disingenuous to say. That's not saying he isn't fighting anybody or he isn't, but when you get to the top level, a separation naturally occurs. That's all I'm saying. I'm not using the resume point to try to, resume and avenue. No, I'm saying that. Well, I'm saying that to say that that's why the level of competition is different versus, AJ has been in there with, with a couple of people that, we would say are credible names and have done some good things with. We can't say the same for Bud. That's why the Wilder point stands up, because at least he was fighting the mandatories in that division for the WBC, and they were ranked number 1 versus Bud is fighting 4 through 6, if that makes sense. But I'm not trying to poo-poo the resume. I'm just talking about experience in the ring. Who do you have experience against? And
Sean Porter and Cal Brook. That Spence fought,
and
right?
Again, to respond to my good brother, when EJ fought them, what did they have?
They all had losses.
When EJ fought them, what did they have? And I know they all had losses. So a loss can take you away from the sport. You're no longer good and everything. So when EJ fought Sean Porter and Kell Brook, what did they have?
Actually, Sean Porter should have lost his belt because Ugas beat him.
We can do the should,
Yeah.
coulda, woulda.
Okay,
we
they
can
had
do
belts.
that. But what did
Okay,
they
hold on.
have? What is
Hold on.
the
Let me ask
factual
you this question.
information?
They had belts, right? I'm gonna ask you yours. They had belts. So
Okay.
are we? Hold on. Wait a minute. Are we determining your talent level by belts? Because people want to shit on Bud Crawford resume and the fighters he fought had belts. So I'm just saying. So if we want to say that, hold on. Wait a minute. If we want to say that, because Sean Porter, Cal Brook already had losses, but they had belts. So if we saying that they are top competition because they got a belt, then you can't get on Bud Crawford resume from 40. How he got his belts and became undisputed, and you can't be mad at him fighting Jeff Horn because Jeff Horn had a belt too.
So
we can't get on none of those fighters.
47 though. I'm not.
Okay, Jeff Horn is at 47.
47.
Jeff Horn is at 47.
Okay,
So
that was
Jeff
one.
Horn.
That was one champion. Got you. No, I'm not poo-pooing it, but level of competition since Jeff Horn. Go ahead. Tell me what else.
He fought Cal Brook and he fought Sean Porter. Two people that Earl Spence lightweight struggled with in those fights.
Okay.
And he knocked both of those guys out.
What was the difference though? That's what I'm saying. You're saying he fought him.
So they didn't have a belt. They didn't have a belt, bro. So if they got a belt, that makes them the shit. And if they do have a belt, if they don't got a belt, they ain't nothing. But if they do got a belt, they something.
Not what's being
that's
said.
That's basically what you saying, bro.
No,
then why are you saying what they have then?
The level was higher because the stakes were higher. A belt was on the line. We are fighting. Well, not in the Kell Brook fight, but for the Sean Porter fight, that's for unification. Errol Spence.
But belt was on the line though.
Kell Brook's land, quote unquote, and take his belt from him in his backyard. The stakes were higher versus.
Hey, wasn't there a belt on the line
Kell
though?
Brook after a severe weight cut at 47, and then Kell Brook was still jabbing him up at the same time. Yes,
was there a belt on the line?
Poor weight cut that Kell Brook had.
Was there a belt on the line when Bud Crawford fought at 47?
Being lower, but then again, it's all these little things. You have people in Sean Porter's camp. Even Sean Porter just came out just the other day and said he didn't train the same for Bud. Like there's just these little things which show you that okay, yes, it's the same name, but it's not. It wasn't the same person. Like that's what I'm saying. And you're naming the two people that EJ already beat at their peak when they had a belt, when they were belt title holders versus Bud beat them to try to clean up EJ's leftovers. But you
right,
Porter
fought fucking Danny Garcia. Porter fought Danny Garcia for a fucking vacant belt. Who nigga? Okay, how was Danny Garcia fucking ranked, bro? Like who was he? Sean Porter.
So when Errol fought Danny Garcia, what was he ranked in the WBC?
So now we're going by rankings. So how we want to do this? That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of hold on.
I'm talking about
a lot of players. Hold on, a lot of fighters.
The number one or the number two guy in your sanctioning body.
All right, bro. Now we going by sanctioning bodies. You moving the goalpost.
You can't jump down to 4 or 6 and then think you're fighting the top competition. No,
bro. We every fighter who Bud fought has been ranked. So if we going by the rankings, we can go look at the fighters who fought
they have
ranked,
been ranked.
And we can hold on, bro.
I never said they weren't, but we say they are the top of the welterweight division.
Okay, so what was Sean Porter ranked? Oh, because he had a belt, so he was ranked number 1. And Cal Brook was ranked number 1 because he had a belt, huh? But Cal Brook, nigga, came off a knockout loss, came back down from 2 weight classes. So how stiff is that competition? What 50-50 fight Earl Spence been in? Tell me that.
50-50 fight as far as the odds makers?
Nah, as far as competition. As far as competition.
I can give you my opinion, but
give me your opinion. I want your opinion on it. No, I want your opinion.
Odds makers say.
No. I want your opinion on a 50-50 fight that Earl Spence has had.
Coming into the fight or
coming into the fight
in general?
Coming into the fight, your opinion.
Okay, my coming into the fight, 50-50 fight that he had, actually, I would say was Danny Garcia simply off the fact of the accident. Because we didn't know what Errol was coming back. So I would say Danny was a 50-50 fight. You can't tell me Kell Brook wasn't a 50-50 fight.
No, it wasn't. Coming off a knockout, coming off of eye surgery, coming back down from 2 weight classes, that's not a 50-50 fight, bro. Everybody knew that.
You do know Kell Brook was 200 and then had to come down in 4 weeks for the Bud Crawford fight. You do know that, right?
Yeah, that's 1 weight division versus 2. So that's I believe that's higher, right?
1?
No, I don't know what it was his weight. I'm saying he came from 54. He came from 54 when he fought Bud. So I'm just saying, I don't know what you're talking about.
And at that time, he had already had 2 orbital fractures in his face.
And he had 2 fights and he won.
So because he won 2 fights, that means, okay, hey, he's back to the old Kell Brook of old,
okay.
Right?
I can use your same shit. Oh, because he went up 2 weight divisions and lost, and he can keep his belt because his belt wasn't in that weight class. He's supposed to be a top fighter.
So you're telling me, so you're going to sit here and tell me because he went up, he dared to be great and lost. Now he's Kell Brook was trash when Errol fought him, but all of a sudden he's the goods when Bud fought him. I'm confused.
I didn't say he was trash. He was compromised. Can we say that?
No. Okay, so if he was compromised with BJ, how was he not compromised with?
Grab one.
How was he not compromised with Bud?
Because he wasn't coming off an injury. He wasn't coming off an injury.
And he was older.
He wasn't coming off an injury. And he wasn't coming back down from 2
He was coming off of 2 injuries because he had 2 orbital fractures. Again, you want to make excuses for the fighter. Did the doctor clear him?
He had time to heal. Hey, hold on. Which one? Hey, let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this.
No, he signed the contract.
Hey, do you agree? Do you agree? Hold on.
Doctor said
all right.
he could
After
fight.
surgery,
He got in the ring and fought.
After you have surgery,
all these different excuses.
Ain't nobody making no excuses. After you have surgery, would you agree or disagree that having more than a year to recover it would be beneficial than having a year? Which one you think is better, having a year or having more time to?
I'm going to trust
them. To heal?
I'm going to trust the medical professional that cleared them. Going to trust because that's not me. I don't like as far as medical. I don't know what's in this person's body or anything like that. But the professional that was assigned to look over them cleared them. Kell Brook signed the contract and fought. To me, I would think, okay, he's ready to fight. I don't we can do the hyperbole and the subjectiveness. Oh, well, maybe he could have been. No, doctor cleared him. He signed the contract, got in the ring and fought. And
why didn't hear this with Pacquiao and why don't hear these
the same side of his face? He broke another side. So,
but can you answer this question? Why I don't hear this narrative when the Pacquiao Floyd shit was going on? Why I didn't hear this narrative then? Because this is the first time I'm starting to hear this narrative about, oh, when you fought this guy, he was past it. Oh, when you fought this guy, he was out of there. But when Pacquiao did all that shit,
everybody wasn't saying that the Floyd Pacquiao fight happened.
No, they was not, bro. No, they was not. Niggas was not saying that shit like that.
I've heard that
not like that.
Several.
Not like this, bro.
I've heard
not like on this level
times that they said Floyd and Pacquiao happened too late. Zone, am I wrong on that? Is that
I'm not talking about when it happened, bro. I'm talking about when Pacquiao was coming up and beating up Floyd Mayweather's leftovers. Niggas wasn't talking about, oh, he fought this guy, he was past it. He fought that guy, he was past. Niggas wasn't saying that shit with Pacquiao. Niggas was like, oh shit, Pacquiao knocked him out. Oh man, look what Pacquiao did to him. Yeah, man, he did him better than Floyd. Yada yada yada. They didn't say, oh, he was leftovers and all this and that. Floyd was the main one saying he was leftovers. Niggas wasn't on here talking about that shit, bro, like that. Niggas was giving Pacquiao praise for that shit.
If that's a narrative you're going with, I mean, that you could say that.
I'm just asking you a question, like, what do you feel is a difference? Why do you feel it's a difference? Why do you feel it's a difference from that? I'm just asking you a question.
Okay, so why do again, if you have your own fighter, the one that fought Bud, saying, I did not train like I trained for Spence to fight Bud, what does that lead you to believe? Because that you can go look on the Portaway podcast. He just did an interview talking about how his dad wanted him to train harder and everything, and Sean was like, nah. So what you're trying to come up like, okay, the name is the same. No, but what they did was different. Sean even said it. You can go back and look. All these are coming out of the fighter's mouth. He had the training camp of his life.
So that's Bud's fault. So that's Bud's fault.
It's not.
So that's
not.
So now. Okay, wait a minute.
Going
so
back
now
to the original.
All right. So now
the original conversation was the experience in the ring. Your level of competition in the ring. Just because you have a name doesn't mean that name necessarily trained or did everything for you. Like at that time, Sean Porter was coming off of a long layoff from being semi-retired after the Spence fight. Like you can't, again, long layoff, and he didn't train hard, and he got in the ring with Bud. Like before they even started making the fight and everything, Sean Porter was ranked in the WBO. I forgot, but since the fight came up, that's what elevated him up in the WBO. But that's more of the politics discussion. We can talk about that. That's a whole different topic. We're talking about what the fighter statement said. He said he didn't train hard for Bud and was dang near winning the fight. I mean, some people say, wasn't up on their scorecards or anything. It was a close fight with Sean Porter coming off of a layoff. Kell Brook.
So do you think Kell Brook was able to train the same if let's say, for example, hypothetically, if he would have fought like a regular 47 pounder, right? Do you think he would have trained differently for Earl Spence if he would have had Earl Spence, or you think he would have had the same amount of training that he had when he came down, was coming off of eye surgery? Just ask him.
He had more time for Errol versus Bud. That's what you're failing to realize. He had more time for Errol versus Bud. He had to cut again. No.
I'm saying, do you think he was able to have the same training regimen that he would normally have at 47? Because you see what I'm saying? Because he came down 2 weight classes,
right.
Then he had eye surgery, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is, do you think he had the same level of training, in your opinion, or do you think that if he would have had a regular fight at 47, he would have been able to train a little bit better?
I think he had the same level of training. Do you know when the doctor actually? When the doctor actually cleared him versus when the fight was made and when he was preparing for that? Do you know that? Because you're saying, oh, he had eye surgery, he did. Do you, again, the time frames, your timeline is completely different from where you're talking about Bud versus when you're talking about EJ. But again, we're just talking about level of competition. When EJ fought Kell, we're just gonna stick to this. Kell was undefeated at welterweight. Yes, he went up and lost to Triple G. I don't see nobody giving Kell flack for that. Man, he got his face broken and everything like that. Healed up, doctor cleared him, started training camp. He's at welterweight where he has the belt. That's like when Canelo lost to Bivol. Nobody really truly gave him flack for that, other than, people thinking it was a cherry pick gone wrong. Okay, hey, he took his lump, came back down, got a UD against John Ryder, and potentially might fight Benavidez now. Like, the track keeps going. Only thing you're hanging on is the injury, but then that works against Bud's point because he fought a Kell Brook that had 2 orbital fractures and coming off of a severe weight cut. Like, you're not going to be fair with your assessment because, like Zone told me, it's going against your point.
Yeah, and also on that Porter Way podcast, Porter was also said that he couldn't attack Bud like he could Earl Spence. So there could have been a disconnect from his from trainer to coach as well. That's what he was saying too, because he knew he couldn't fucking do what he did against EJ to Bud. So he had to change up his style. So you don't believe that it was a disconnect there?
No, so if we want to talk about fight matchups between, if you want to dive down that road, we can. So if Spence came out, like, it's already been admitted by Kenny Porter, Sean's daddy, that Spence fought a dumb fight. Spence made the fight way harder than he needed to be. Because Spence wanted to get in there and dog pound and pound around and throw around. These were statements that have been said. This is factual information. Even Kenny Porter said, yeah, he could have beat Sean easy, but he decided to get in there and rough him up and do all that other stuff. So you're comparing a fight that made the conscientious decision to try to fight like the other fighter versus another fighter that stuck to their quote-unquote style or their quote-unquote game plan. Earl was all about trying to beat Sean Porter about what he do. And he did. He beat him at his style. Terrence wasn't. Terrence wasn't trying to bang and do all that rough and housing and everything like that. So you can't compare the two fighting styles because Errol said, no, we doing what we doing. Versus Bud was more content with sticking with his style and sticking with his game.
I think you switching up what I be saying, bro, in the middle of your sentence, bro. I just said Porter.
But you're talking about he hit Errol more easily than he hit.
No, I didn't say none of that, bro. I said Porter Porter's on his podcast, because you quoted it, right? And he also said that he could not. He felt like his daddy wanted to train, but he felt like some of the shit like that worked against EJ wouldn't have worked against Crawford. So I'm saying that I believe that it was a disconnect there. You know what I'm saying? And he knew that Bud was not going to fight that type of fight. So that's all I'm saying. Like in Sean Porter, because credit, he said that he felt like he was have to fight that fight different because he couldn't come at Bud Crawford like he did Earl Spence, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm not saying like
I'm not saying like the training camp. I thought you were talking about
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I think it was a disconnect between Sean Porter and his daddy. You feel me? Like,
right,
but
the thing you can't.
But wait.
I got you. Go ahead.
That happens in boxing a lot, bro. Wouldn't it be a disconnect from trainer to fighter all the time? But we can't sit up there and blame the other fighter that this fighter didn't do what he need to do. No. If a fighter coming there overweight, do we blame the other fighter? No, we don't. If the other fighter coming there in an injury, we don't care. That's like when Cal Brook, if he was still injured, he shouldn't have got into the ring, right? So we can't sit up there and be like, oh, he didn't train, so we're gonna take a notch off of Bud because he didn't train, and we feel like he didn't train, and since he didn't do that, we're gonna take some notch off him. No, a lot of people felt like he was in a fight. A lot of people felt like Porter was up. So like how you feel like he was up and then he was doing good in a fight, but since Bud knocked him out, oh, now he's past it. Like that shit just sounds hella finicky, bro.
So you're conflating two different argument points. So you can't say when out of the own fighter's admission, if we're going to talk about the interview he used, specifically, he was talking about he would have him like spar a couple of extra times, or he would have him like, if we're going to use these specific examples, and Porter was like, nah, he would have him try to run another mile or everything. And Porter was like, nah. So it's not about necessarily the training tactics. It's about the effort level. Kenny Porter recognized the effort level wasn't there. He even said so post-fight and all of his interviews afterwards. The effort level was not the same. Even if you want to say the training style was different for a fighter, because Bud isn't the same fighter that EJ is, cool. The effort wasn't in there as it was with EJ. Now, if we want to talk about, we can't put that on Bud. You're right. Bud can only fight if they step in the ring.
But Porter never said he took it easy in the fight neither. He never said that, oh, I wasn't trying in the fight, or I wasn't going hard in the fight. So if he's not training, that's on him, bro. Not fighting, that's on the other fighter, bro.
That is on Sean Porter, but again, if Bud is fighting
the fighter, you can't take away another fighter glory, though. You can't take another fighter glory.
Again, when we go back to what the original statement was, we were talking about the level of competition and how being in there with the elite. So even though the name may be considered elite, if the fighter didn't come in there, quote unquote elite, the fighter didn't train how he need, the fighter didn't do it. Yes, he beat the name, but we can't say that he was in there with another elite because his own daddy admitted that he wasn't ready. He said he didn't train for it as well. So again, those are things, and it's unfortunate, but that does knock down the win, because when we compare like we doing now, we're going to show the clips of Sean Porter saying he had the training camp of his life, Kenny Porter saying he had the training fight of his life for Spence. We're going to show these clips. We're going to show this. But when it comes to Bud knocked him out. First person to ever stop Sean Porter. Hey, that's a great achievement. That's great. But then as soon as it comes down to it, you have the father saying, yeah, he didn't train.
I don't see niggas doing that against Sugar Ray Leonard. When he made Roberto Duran, when he made the Roberto Duran Domas, because I heard that Roberto Duran wasn't even ready for that next fight. Roberto Duran was not even training fucking ready, but don't nobody knock Sugar Ray Leonard for making Roberto Duran go Domas. Now, don't nobody do that shit. And everybody know Roberto Duran was not ready. He was out there coked up doing all kind of shit. Hella fat and all that shit, had to drop weight. But don't nobody take that away. Hold on. Wait a minute though. Don't nobody take away from Sugar Ray Leonard greatness or making them say no more. They wasn't like, well, Roberto Duran wasn't ready and so the competition wasn't there and because he didn't train good. And no, nobody say that shit. I don't hear nobody saying that shit. Everybody say, nigga, Sugar Ray Leonard made him no mas, made him quit. Pure point die, bro. So don't do that shit to Bud. That's all I'm saying. Don't do that shit. Nigga, it's not Bud's fault that he didn't train, bro, or you feel like he didn't train, so you can't take away his glory. And that's what I don't like. I don't like to take away Earl Spence glory. I don't want to take away Earl Spence glory. I don't want to take Bud Crawford glory. If he beat the nigga, he beat the nigga. If he didn't train, he didn't train. That's on him. That's not on Bud.
But you see,
that's on him.
You change it up when you're talking about now. You're not taking fight away glory, but you're over here trying to poo-poo the Kell Brook win versus again. You're trying to do the same thing. I'm not going to say the same thing, but you're trying to poke holes in that level of competition the same way I'm poking holes in the Porter. Like, again, when we're going back to the original topic about the elite level of competition that's been going on, we're talking about, have you been in the ring with other elite fighters of the same ilk as yourself? When Crawford fought Brook, he was coming up.
Hell no. He haven't, bro. Brooks was if Brook was at 47 and didn't go up to fight Triple G and didn't have eye surgery, Spence would have beat his ass regardless, bro. If it didn't matter who did what. It didn't matter if Danny Garcia it was undefeated, nigga. It didn't matter, bro. Spence was gonna beat them niggas, bro. Pure point die, bro. It's just real, bro. He ain't never been in no 50-50 fight, bro. So when niggas say it's a competition, bro, and then all the niggas, hold on, wait a minute. All the dudes that Earl Spence fought, a lot of you niggas would have Bud favorite to beat them niggas if it was even at the same time frame. Prime for prime, nigga. Who you gonna pick? You gonna pick Danny Garcia over Bud, prime for prime? Nope, you gonna pick Bud. Or you gonna pick Ugas over Bud? Be my guest. Is you gonna pick Mikey Garcia over Bud? Be my guest. In a prime, be my guest. Or you gonna take Sean Porter in his prime against Bud? Be my guest. But but it would, to me, that would be on some hater shit, bro. Like niggas know, like niggas like there have Bud favorite, just like they have EJ favorite on his resume in a prime, outside of their prime, triple A prime, or whatever. Because I think EJ is just that. But you know what I mean? Only reason why I bring up the Kell Brook shit. The only reason why I bring up the Kell Brook shit is because niggas want to shit on Crawford and shit like that. That's the only reason why. I don't give a. He beat him in his own country. I like that shit. I just don't like the EJ fanboys taking away from Bud, bro. That's just some whole shit to me. And that's the way I feel, bro.
One second. Hey, y'all cooking good. Y'all keep going. But let me just, because I know, Truth, you're in the debate mode. You're trying to get your points across, and you're doing an excellent job as an Earl Spence fan and a guy who's picking that. And same thing with Taco. But what he's saying, and I want you guys to understand this across the board, there are people who are balanced. And what we're saying is that we like both. We're just picking Terrence Crawford. Like, some of us are not just Bud fans, and I'm not even with the big fish fry and all that, who ducking who. But what happens is with Spence fans, because you guys probably accumulate data from different avenues and different content creators, you guys kind of sometimes, Earl Spence fans, get lost in what the true boxing fans are saying. There's a difference between Bud fans, Spence fans, and boxing fans who just want to see the welterweight undisputed fight. When you start coming in talking about the hypocrisies, right, then we have to respond to show you that there's both on both sides. You can't then eject out of that argument to say that we're doing it. What Taco is saying is he give full credit to Earl Spence for fighting Kell Brook. I do too. Brook should have took his ass up there to get his eye socket broke by Triple G. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Part of the fight that you fight is not always inside the ring. It's also outside of the ring. You can't keep giving these guys as excuse. These are professional athletes. They have nothing else to do except train and be professional boxers. If Sean Porter Daddy is saying that they didn't do that, that's on them. That's not going to give you an out why Terrence Crawford stopped your ass. That's probably why you got stopped. It's part of the game. So we're just saying because we have Terrence Crawford winning the fight against Earl Spence, it doesn't mean that we can't empathize with Earl Spence and we don't get you guys' point of view. We just don't want to get mixed up in thinking that we're advocating extra hard for Terrence Crawford. That's not what's going on. We just got him picked in the fight. And I think that's where it get lost. And I think that's what Taco is kind of saying. Go ahead. Y'all keep cooking. Go ahead, Black Truth.
No, and I have no problem with I'm not going I have no problem with, y'all asserting that. I'm just going back
bro,
to
and that's what I'm saying. I'm a boxing fan, bro.
reason.
Don't get me wrong. I like Bud. You feel me? Bud is my dog. You feel me? But at the same time, I'm a boxing fan, bro. Like real shit. I'm not finna sit on. I don't like to shit on no fighter's resume. I don't like, because at the end of the day, bro, you can do that for every fighter. Every fighter can get their resume poked through and creep through, and we can have opinions on this and that and the other. But my thing is, if we do that, we're taking the credit away from the fighters. And then if I take away from Spence, I'm gonna be taking away from Bud. That makes no sense. But I go back at it with these EJ fans when they just make it seem like this competition shit, like it was this hella high, like bro, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, Sean Porter was not all that to me. I'm sorry. Danny Garcia, he was cool, but he wasn't all that to me neither. This is a boxing fan, bro. It didn't matter if EJ fought him or not. I just didn't feel like they were a top guy like that. I never felt like Ugas was a fucking top guy. I felt like he lucked up against Pacquiao. Pacquiao was a little bit older. You feel me? What I'm saying? And I felt like shit, Pacquiao took a lot out of that nigga. You see that nigga face after he beat the Pacquiao beat him? That nigga looked like nigga Willie Lump, nigga. So, I mean, I don't like to take away from nobody. I just want to see a good fight. And I just wish that some of these Earl Spence fans will give Bud enough credit for at least knocking out the guys that Earl Spence couldn't knock out. Like, no matter what. It don't matter when he fought him, what happened, if they daddy didn't train him, if they was up a weight class and then came back down one, if they already had losses or whatever, because you can't say shit, because everybody who EJ fought that y'all deemed good had losses. So you can't sit up here and say they was good when EJ fought them. After they lost, they was good when EJ fought them. But then when Bud fought them, they was past it. Like, it's just, I just don't get that shit, bro. I don't know how to add that up.
So again, when we're talking, if we're going back to the original conversation the Me Zone was having, he was asking why. How can I have Wilder beating AJ and not have Bud? Again, so when you're asking why, I have to provide a reason. When you're providing a reason why this is over this, they're both great fighters. We're splitting hairs, but when we're providing a reason why A is better than B, we going to do things that, okay, this is why B isn't over A. So it's not necessarily tearing down, it's just reasons. It's providing reasons. Like you said, you could provide reasons to me as a Bud fan why you have Bud winning, but that is not necessarily tearing down. It's reasons, whether if you want to say subjective, objective, whatever they said, what we putting on the fighters, but that's what we're doing, right? That's what I was originally doing with Zone, providing a reason why I had EJ beating Bud, but although I still have Wilder being AJ. That, again, coming back to the original point of the conversation, and then we had started talking about I think a little bit about the resume or competition level and everything, and then that's where it's kind of spurring off from here. It wasn't necessarily a Bud takedown, like I'm after Bud and I can't see why anybody has Bud winning. No, but when we're talking about this, when we're coming with opposing sides, we can't just say, oh, Bud's a good fighter, oh, EJ's a good fighter. That's not a conversation. That's not a sharing of ideas. You can share what you have. I can share what I have in opposition, and then we go back and forth. It's not just about us agreeing. Again, the original question was why, and that's what I was answering, why.
Right. So we concluded our back and forth, and I got kind of what you were saying, right? But I was just saying that they're very, very comparable. And I think you kind of aligned with that from the jab to the training camp with some different nuances, right? That's fair. And then what happened was you did invoke a resume. And I just said, hey, well, for me, I won't go down the path because I give full credit to both. So using Terrence Crawford's deficiency that you think are deficient within a resume, that doesn't do anything for me because his performances speak for themselves, right? Now, if you got caveats to the performances, I can understand that, but these are grown athletes and they are world class, okay? They're way higher ranked in discipline and should be than you and I. They're professional boxers. They can't find a way to get it done on a professional level, then that's on them. You suffer the consequences and the outcome of your lack thereof in your performance, right? That's how it goes. No two fights are created equal, right? And I agree with Taco. If you switch it around and have Earl Spence fight everybody on Bud's resume, I got Earl Spence winning and vice versa. Also, too, let you guys get back to cooking. The breakdown with Kush, the great, he seems to want to challenge you to a debate. I'm gonna give him his chance to get up here so you guys can work that out and talk about it. If you interested in that Black Truth, we definitely can set that up and we can get the rules in effect. Not saying that you got to take it, but if you do, it'll be interesting. But let's see what he says first. He said he got to eat breakfast, so we'll let you guys work that out live in HD. But right now, you guys can continue between you and Taco. Go ahead, y'all got the floor.
Yeah, like I said, when the level of competition was brought when we was originally talking about Wilder and Bear, because we was both saying it could be said that they had suspect competition. I was just going based off of that premise of the comparison between AJ and EJ, just because more the common knowledge, I'm not going to say the common knowledge, but the general consensus is that AJ and EJ has fought the better competition. Like I believe that's the general consensus. And whether if we, want to go into the nuances of, but the general consensus is that they've fought better competition versus if you want to say the performances of Wilder and Bud are more sticking out. We tracking so far? That makes sense so far?
Nah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Okay.
sense. But and I'm not saying like you a fanboy or nothing like that, because I ain't really been on with you. So I wouldn't even call you that. So I would just say you a fan because you've been speaking some Basha knowledge up here for real. But the only thing I have to say is like I'm kind of like new to this YouTube boxing shit, right? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't on here hella long. I might have been on here probably for like 8 years maybe. So. But when I was first started, bro, I hardly heard niggas talk about resumes and shit, right? Or like when we talk about old school boxing, I hardly ever heard of that shit, bro. Now it's like I started hearing that shit. First, I started hearing that shit with the Wilder shit when niggas wanted to shit on Wilder. They wanted to talk about his resume. And then the Wilder fans went back at AJ to talk about his resume. And then now we got Bud Crawford, you know what I'm saying? Now everybody want to chew his shit up and who he fought. And then now niggas want to chew up Tank Davis and who they fought and all this shit, bro. Like, and then it's like, it ain't even like it's just on fans' opinion who they think is the better fighter. Because if we go off the rankings, people don't want to go off the rankings because they feel the rankings is shitty. So now everybody doesn't have their own opinion who they feel is the fighter. Because if we look at Sean Porter was ranked in the he was ranked in every sanctioning body, I'm probably sure. I think he was number 2 in the WBC at the time, wasn't he? Before he fought Bud. But that's not gonna matter. That's gonna get overshadowed because of the situation with the father, his daddy coming out saying that shit. You feel me? I would have liked it if Kenny Porter would have never even said that shit, to be real. Because it takes away from his son, it takes away from Bud. You know what I mean? I don't like that shit. But I'm just saying the resume shit. It's subjective. The resume shit is subjective to the fans, bro.
You got it.
Subjective to the fans.
Taco. Hey Taco. He just dropped out for a second. Let's pause for a second. I'm gonna let you keep cooking because he dropped off. But as soon as he come back in, if he come back in, I gotta give Kush the Great a chance to challenge him, and let's see if they want to do something with a debate because Kush said he wanted to challenge him. So
bro,
Kush,
I'll go back to the chat. I'll go back to the chat and listen to that, bro. I ain't even tripping.
Hold on, we gonna set it up on the Taco. Listen, here's the thing: we got to give them because we allow them to have control. We don't instigate. I explained to you guys, hey, Get the Smoke got one against BVO, and I like the guys. We ain't gonna do this preschool style. I like you guys to control your own stuff. We don't tell you what you gonna do, how you gonna do it. No. Let these guys work it out as grown men and set up a date so they can get busy the way they see fit. We don't instigate anything. We allow it to happen naturally. All right. So Taco, you can keep cooking. I don't know if Black Truth is going to come back. Kush, I see you in the building. Go ahead and get the cooking, Kush. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, Kush can go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Taco, what's good, fam?
What's
Good morning,
brother, man? What's happening, bro? I was just up on my boy Jones, and I just started hearing his resume stuff and the competition. I'm like, bro, like that shit, bro. It gets irritating, bro. I swear, bro. Like I just don't.
You know, when they up here and they talking about resumes and shit like that, and they kind of giving their points about Crawford, they don't like no get back at him, you know. So I got on and I'm hearing it, and I want to challenge him. You know, it's all respect and everything like that. Maybe the dude heard me elsewhere or something. Maybe he ran off or something. But hey, look, I'm calling you out, bro.
Okay, Kush, this what we'll do. We'll get your half, and then we'll see if he come back. So that way, when he come back, we can
And
just
I be
go
feeling
and
like,
see
bro,
what
these
he got.
niggas just be more fans of boxers than boxing fans, bro. Because I mean, I never seen this shit like, but bro, Bud Crawford, he was undisputed at a weight division. He done freaking what? I mean, what he like?
Well, see,
African American wife, got kids,
Taco, you
taking care
cook.
of the
Taco,
community.
you
Like, I
cook.
don't get it.
Look, Taco, you cook. You doing your thing. Don't let them raise your blood pressure. Just relax. Let's go ahead
Oh
and
no, not even.
let's let Kush lay his claim out so we can see what we talking about for us the conversation. Let's see.
Oh, okay,
So
go ahead.
Kush, what are you saying when you say you want to challenge him to a debate? Now, Taco, you can come back on. You're more than welcome. I just need to let Kush get his conversation out and get his airtime. Kush, what exactly are you saying as it regards to Black Truth? What are you challenging him on specifically?
Well, for one, him saying that Spence has fought the better competition at the 147 weight division, I would argue that him and Crawford share the Spence's two best wins. They share the same opponents. Spence ain't fought nobody of higher competition than Terrence Crawford do, and he also disproved that on the $1 million worth of game podcast, and we all know this. Spence have not fought nobody of greater level of competition than Terrence Crawford. This it's just a fallacy, and they love to harp on it. But hey, I'm challenging the dude because I know that Terrence Crawford, really, in my opinion, I would debate him that Terrence Crawford has a better resume.
Okay, so he's here. He's here. So listen, this is how the structure works now, guys. Just so you can agree with me. Just put yourself on mute so this can go out clear if you can. Thank you. So, okay, Kush, he's challenging you truth to a debate. We're gonna comb through this like gentlemen. I will not tell you guys what you can and cannot do. I'm just gonna give you the structure and you guys fill in the gaps. Okay, there won't be any surprise questions, none of that. And I greatly appreciate you for the challenge, Kush. Also, Truth Speaks. I will say this. What I will do, if you guys challenge each other and you make this debate, I am going to put $50 on the winner. I am the moderator and the host. I have no influences on the judge. You guys will come through and do this live right here in HD. I will give you $50 for the winner for your time. That's the kind of guy I am. Smoke and BV will be facing each other for the title. And if you guys want to, flip into that, you're welcome to do that as well, too. So listen, this is the structure. All right. You guys have an opening round to lay down your groundwork. The next person will lay down their opening. You guys get to rebut each other's opening. Okay? So, Kush, I'm going to tell you this. You have to go first because you're initiating the challenge. Okay? You have to go first. So, you will lay down your opening, and then Black Truth will lay down his opening, and then you get to rebut, and then Black Truth get to rebut. Okay? There will be no breaks. There will be no pauses. The second leg, you guys get to roll right into it. And in that second leg, the judges that you two guys agree upon get to ask questions now. So that second leg, they get to get clarity. That way we won't miss anything from the judges. They thought y'all said this and they judge it wrong. They get to say, hey, Kush, I have a question for you. I need clarity. And you have to respond to the judges. And they get to do that until they're satisfied. Also within that round, I will, as the moderator, pick questions from the chat. Okay, this will not be challenging questions. This won't be no goofy questions. This won't be no disrespectful questions. This will not be that kind of situation. It will be, hey, Black Truth, he has this question from you from the chat, and you get to respond so the judges get to get complete clarity. The third leg, or would you consider it round? Because I'm saying third leg because it's continual. There will be no breaks in between. The judges will finish off with you guys having a closing statement. So after the first leg of the opening and the rebuttal, in the questioning and back and forth between the judges and you guys answering chat questions and going against each other, then there will be a close. And Kush, you will have to go first because you're initiating the challenge that's already set in place. Do you guys find any issue with that?
Go ahead, Black Truth.
He challenged you. So do you got any issue with that?
As far as the debate template, no. I just want to hone in on the topic.
Okay, that's what we finna do. You guys finna work that out first. Do you guys have? And my platform is open for whoever you want to bring to a judge. I'm not limited. I don't take anything personal. So if you feel comfortable, we got to get who you feel that are judges for you guys. So Kush, since you did initiate the challenge, you do get to go ahead and put in who do you want as a judge.
Well, I definitely want Blood as a judge.
Okay, you want Blood?
With that shit, I want Blood as a judge. I think he's fair and he got a lot of boxing knowledge.
Okay. Truth, how do you feel about that?
I'm good with whoever judges.
Okay, now no, not with whoever, because we want to make sure you get input. Now, for you, Black Truth, who would you like to submit as a judge?
I don't necessarily have people to submit. Just whoever's a judge is whoever's a judge.
Okay. Then Kush, who else would you like as a judge?
To make it fair, I think that he should pick a second judge, but if he want me to pick the judge, then I'm with that too.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll split the tie.
How about Bruce Gas?
Hold on, I got you. That's a good one. That's a good credible. Bruce Gas, if he's available. Okay. Now, what we also would do is we will use now Truth. I will leave the third judge open for you so you can have some input. And then I will search for other judges. I just want to make sure that you're good and that we're not loading the deck with Terrence Crawford fans or people that you feel won't give you a fair shake. You can reach out to people, you can call people, and do what you got to do to bring judges on board this show. No one's off limit, right? Other than that, if you don't, I will pick Phil Walker just to put him in as that spot. As a spare, I will put in Lisa Bales, if that's okay. And I wouldn't pick nobody that's known to do like Crawford debate. So those are four. But if you got somebody else, then you do that. Let me know ASAP. Now, what is the actual topic that you guys are debating? You debating legacy, debating it all, Terrence versus Spence, period. What are you guys debating exactly?
Hey, you know what? I'm with debating it all. Period. If that's what I want to do. I'm straightforward with mine. Okay,
he want legacy, Truth. He want everything. So he want to bring everything that Terrence Crawford has done against your Earl Spence. Do you accept that?
I don't.
Okay, what would you like to do then? What are you specifically?
Because I believe he came in talking about resume. So
okay.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay,
and that's why I wanted to hone in. Are we talking about the resume at 147, or are you talking about of all time?
Okay, that's a good one.
We can talk about 147. We can do it how you do it. I want it to be fair.
Okay, 147. The resume at 147. So you both agree to that. So we got is Spence versus Crawford. Resume at 147. Kush challenged Black Truth. One of the judges that we agree on is Blood, Bruce Gas. I'm putting in Phil as one of them and Lisa Bales as a spare. But Truth, if you find somebody else, you could trump that and you could plug them in. What are you guys' time zone or what time are your availabilities? What's your time zone, Truth?
I'm in Central.
Okay, you Central. Yep. So you're out behind me. And Black Truth, what you are?
I'm here every morning, so I'm in Cali. I'm Pacific West.
Okay, you PST. Okay, got you. So give me a date that is good for you guys.
I'm ready today. When and where, and I need the questions.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you feel, Black Truth, about that? He said he's ready today. That's good. What are you looking like? Today is Friday. Do you want to do something tomorrow, or you don't care? You want to do something tonight on the spot?
Let promise.
I will say this: if we do it tonight, I can have my phone all charged up and everything, so that might be better. If you want to do it tonight,
Okay, let's see. All right, we got to see what he say. Do you want to get time to look over some stuff? You want to
But
do it tonight?
it depends what time, because I do kind of have other obligations with me and my wife. So what time?
Absolutely.
whenever
You
you're ready, I'll be here. I'm on vacation.
okay? Hold on? Do you want to do tonight, or do you want to do something tomorrow before the fight? Now, I can be available, and we'll kind of go off your time because you're West Coast, so you're further away. So let me know because I want you comfortable for the debate. We can do something tomorrow if you like. Don't rush into it because it's gonna be here. Truth.
Oh no, I'm not on the West Coast. I'm on Central Time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. So hold on.
Are you free tomorrow morning?
Okay, so hold on. So Kush, you PST, you West Coast.
Yeah, I'm West Coast.
Okay, my bad. I had it backwards. I'm sorry. PST. Okay, and then Truth, you CST. Okay, then my bad. Then what you want to do, Kush? Would you want to do something tomorrow morning ish or before the fight or what? You want to go ahead and take him on his offer tonight or what?
All I need is time to charge my phone.
Let's
That's
do. We
it.
can do it. We can do it tomorrow morning. I'll be up. What?
Okay.
Is it going to be around this same time?
I'm asking you. You tell me. I'll be available, and I'll make it available, and then you guys can get it in.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
So
I'm good tomorrow morning.
Truth, what time?
We can go. I was going to say 10 Central Standard Time, so that'd be 11 yours, and
Yep.
I think that'd be 8 a.m. my time, right?
Yep, it's 8. Yep, 8 on you. That's 10 Central. And then 11 my time. I'll be here at 11. I mean at 10:45, 15 minutes before. Get the judges together, and then that's 8 o'clock for my guy Truth. All right, there we have it. Best resume at 147. When you guys get in, please, if you want to now, you could go ahead in the private chat and send me you guys' Cash App. Do you guys have Cash App?
I got it. I got it all.
Okay, send it to me in the private chat. So as soon as you guys complete the debate tomorrow, then the winner, based on what the judges in the chat kind of say, I will give you your money, and then it'll be a good debate, and we could rock from there.
I'm excited now.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This is a good one. So I'll be here tomorrow. I don't have anything in the way. It's Saturday, so I will cook with you guys. Appreciate you guys for making this happen. It's up to you guys. And also, Black Truth, still, if you have somebody else that pop into your mind, please contact me. Let me put my information in the back in the private chat for you guys. This is going to be
respect to you, bro, for accepting the challenge.
100%. I mean, knowledge is obtained by the sharing of ideals. So even if I necessarily lose, I mean, it's still going to be a good time. We're still going to share back and forth. Breaking bread with brethren is never a loss, in my opinion.
All right, you guys got my number in the back, so you can text me directly, or you also have my email, which is also across the screen, so that you guys can get it in. Let me write that down. I got you, Kush. I see you right now.
I'm about to hit your email.
Okay, and then I'm waiting for Truth to send me his Cash App.
Yeah, I'll be sending it because it's my actual name. So
yeah, I got you. So Cam, who is the judges? They have selected Blood, Bruce Gas, and as an alternative, Phil Walker and Lisa Bells. Cam, are you interested in kind of being a judge as well? Because Black Truth said he's okay with whoever, and he just good to debate. So Cam, are you interested in being a judge? You got to be available tomorrow, and I got to get this out to the people who may be available so that they can judge if they're available. All right, so we'll let you. All right, so we're not gonna let you guys give all what you got. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause it right here. We can switch the subject because I don't want you guys to start spitting out your information, and we can talk about Lopez Taylor. What do you guys got?
Crazy enough, I think I got Tia.
Okay.
And it's simply just an ego pick, man. Just because I mean, that Jack Catterall fight from Taylor showed me a lot, man. And like, I know T.O. ain't the he a few crayons short of a full color, but I don't know, man. He might just be crazy enough to do it.
I'm definitely rocking with Taylor, bro. I don't like To's cocky, flamboyant attitude. Feeling like he could just step to Taylor like that. I'm a big fan of both fighters, but I'm not a fan of T.O. outside the ring. The craziness he talking, life is the beginning, the death, and I don't like that type of shit, bro. I don't like when fighters disrespect like that when it's not that type of climate. I feel like it's when it's actually real bad blood there, then I get it, but I don't like Tia right now. I think that he need to be taught a lesson, and I think that Taylor gonna be too much for him. Probably stop the dude between 6 and 8 rounds, like you said.
All right, yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this one, man. I kind of like this one. Adrian Broner gonna be back in action as well too. Um, what you guys think about Broner, man? Are y'all done with Broner? Because some people, give Broner multiple shots. What do you guys think? You think he's gonna get back on the good foot?
Well, if he stops making boneheaded business decisions, maybe. I mean, I really can't for the life of me understand. Like, I mean, because I still Broner is talented, but just his mental and like the moves he be making is the ultimately what messes him up. Because I mean, he done messed up his relationship with Al. I mean, and now he brought Don King out of retirement. Come on, what are we doing? I don't know if y'all saw that press conference, but Don King should have had no microphone nowhere near him. At least Bob. I mean, we say what we want about Bob. I mean, at least Bob is somewhat coherent.
I mean, Broner, he always entertaining, but as far as him winning the fight and getting back on the good foot, I don't know if he's capable of that because he spends so much time out of the ring. He blows up in weight. The dude gets fat, and he going through all these mental issues consistently. I don't know if I could get behind Broner. I ain't seen too much of this other guy, but I would like to root for Broner. But it's hard to be on the side of that guy.
Hey,
I
Kush,
ain't seen
Like this,
let me ask you something real quick about your technology. It's sometimes when you come on, you have a pop going on, and I want to make sure that that's clear for tomorrow. Are you what kind of just check your technology and then listen to the playback, and you will hear that there's a pop in your technology. I don't know if you're just using a phone, laptop, desktop, but there's definitely a pop. I don't know if you're using the little earbuds or pods or something, but there's a little pop when you kind of speak.
Yeah, I think it's my headphones, but tomorrow I make sure that I'm on my computer with my mic, so that I'll be much clearer.
Oh, never mind. Okay, you got the computer with the mic. Okay, I'm sorry, my bad. Hey, y'all, I'll be there at 10:45, just so you know that I'm set up and I'm good to go. I'm gonna let you guys close out the show with your last words. Tomorrow I'll be ready. Send me. You got my number. It's in the back. Text me or email me, and then we'll be in communications. Kush, again, if there's something that you kind of need to let me know about the judges, then go ahead and implement that if you want to. But as it stands, it's going to be blood boxing. If I can get a hold of them, Bruce Gas, Phil Walker, Lisa Bell, and Cam. If I need to rotate that because maybe blood is not available or Bruce Gas not available, then we'll put the judges in place from there. All right.
I feel like having if they available, Bruce Gas and OG Blood, even though they may pick whatever side they pick, they gonna call it how they see it. So I'm fine with
Hey,
having
I'm
2 of the 4
watching that.
judges pick.
Stop.
All right, man. Don't be getting in trouble on this YouTube.
right?
Yeah, we getting in trouble, man. You better make
Y'all
sure.
know, y'all know I got the baby over here and shit. My bad.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Congratulations on that. So, hey, Black Truth, what you got, man? And we're gonna close it down, and y'all see y'all last statements, and that's it for the day, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited, man. Just to kind of talk boxing and without all that, hostility and all that other stuff, man. I'm gonna respect you as a man. Hope to get that in return. But yeah, man, just talk boxing about a fight we finally getting. At least we can all agree that we finally getting it. It's locked up, sewn up. So we'll at the end of the day, we'll see who the real victor is on July 29th.
That's a good one. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I will go ahead and create for both of you guys a up and coming schedule. You know how you go on YouTube and it tells about the up and coming schedule. I will go ahead and schedule this for tomorrow, along with Get the Smoke Them debate, because I have two of them this weekend, and I greatly appreciate you guys. Be safe, and then I'll see you later, Black Truth. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Kush. What you got, man? Say your final words. I see you jumped in and you're challenging people. You ain't fucking around. We'll be there tomorrow. And I hope all is well. You know, have a good day as well. Go ahead and speak your truth, man, and get it out of your chest.
Yeah, man. I just want to say I look forward to tomorrow morning. You know, it's gonna be, I hope, a great debate. I hope he got something for me because I'm coming with it. That's all I gotta say.
Whew, that's gonna be a good one, man. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day with your family, man. Great boxing talk, great conversation with you, man. I'll see you, man. Have a good day. All right, man. So listen, and man, and these guys are cooking, man. These guys are doing their thing, man, and I greatly appreciate this. This was a good, smooth, conversational piece. I think people like it like this. I think you guys are enjoying this, you know, sports talk collectively, right? We're not going to neglect the whole football and basketball, but we want to get this boxing thing in order, and we want to get some of these debates. So you guys kind of know what to expect from us now with the YouTube sports community. All right. And that's what we're doing, man. And we want to invite everybody over, man. Listen, I'm not telling you to ditch the YouTube boxing community or anything that you're associated with, but you guys are welcome to come on over here and hashtag it out with the YouTube sports community. Because a lot of you guys do more than just boxing, man. A lot of you guys are activists. A lot of you guys do fuck with boxing. Some of you guys got kids that play football, baseball, soccer, ping pong, darts. And some of you guys are swimmers. Some of you guys are power lifters, weightlifters, cross trainers, crossfitters. So we need all that, man. Take some of the pressure off boxing. There's no pressure, no egos involved. We don't want it to be just debating boxing. We don't want to just talk about Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence, Deontay Wilder versus AJ. We don't want to have divisive language, divisive issues. We want to come together and we moving past that. Like I told you guys, I'm no longer YouTube boxing community. I rock with them. That's a piece of my life, but I'm YouTube sports community. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Take the B out and sub it in for the S, and that's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? YTSC, 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 YouTube sports community. You got to roll off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? YTSC, YTSC, YouTube sports community. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we doing. We giving it, and it ain't just got to be a challenge on the boxing. When we start talking about this football stuff, it is what it is. We're going to get to talk about that. We can talk about the Joker. We can talk about what's going on with Wilt Chamberlain versus him and, you know, everybody. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. We can talk about all that. We do that over here. Also, anybody, okay, anybody that is interested in fantasy football, you got to have experience. You got to be able to play. Again, I'm in it, okay? Champ Ross just locked in and booked his ticket. He's in there, and we getting these spots filled up. If you are interested in fantasy football and you have experience, please send me your Yahoo email. Let me give you an example. I'm finna share my screen real quick before we close out and show you what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. You guys see that? This is some from yesterday. All right, right here we have, this is me, obviously, and this is Champ Ross. All these slots are going to be filling up. I send 3 out at a time just to make sure that it's cool. I got 1, 2, 3. Once these 2, 3 fill up, then I'm going to move on to the next guys. And I got these slots kind of spoken for a minute. I got some guys that I'm holding off to sending it to because I know they're going to want to participate. I'm trying to get more of the YouTube boxing community involved in this, as well as the YouTube sports community involved in this, right? So this is just not about one or the other. It's about just having a good time. So this is a fantasy league for football. I got everything ready for you guys. That's me there. There's Champ Ross. He's already in. We're looking for 10 more slots. There should be Phil Walker, Ryan Clark, Nico. It should be Rollo Jenkins, Antonio MMA, my boy Big Hill. And I'm leaving these open because I haven't sent out any invites for other people because I want to leave these 4 open for the community. So if you're interested or you're curious about it and you have experience with fantasy football, I got 4 more slots to 3 more slots. Zoe Money also wants a slot, but he's still thinking about it. But first come, first serve. If you fuck with football, if you rock with professional football, and you know about that fantasy, you know how we get down on that fantasy, man. That fantasy be fun in a motherfucker. And you know how to draft. You know about the snake draft. You know about the cash prize because it's going to be a cash league, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how this go if you played fantasy before, so you know what time it is. So that take the pressure off just always having to talk about boxing, and it's making it a lot more fun. So again, this is the YouTube sports community. It's over with, okay? Ain't just no more boxing. I fuck with boxing, but we spreading this thing out, okay? We got 2 incredible debates coming up. We got Get the Smoke. He got Sugar Ray Leonard versus BVO. He got Floyd Mayweather Jr. It's a legacy debate, and it is taking place June the 11th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? That'd be 12 PST time for Get the Smoke, okay? Legacy debate. The judges will be Blood Boxing, Big Blunts, and Shelton Moore, all right? You guys already had the format. I just explained that again. Then tomorrow, we have a debate at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with my boy, Kush versus The Truth. Resume at 147, Spence versus Crawford. And hopefully right now, I got to get in contact with the judges. Cam said he wants to be a judge. Cam, if you're still in there, you need to get in contact with me. Jump on here real quick so I can get your information so we can get that articulated and get that knocked out. I'm going to ask Big Phil Walker, Bruce Gas, and Blood today if they don't mind getting up and judging the debate. You guys have the format. If you watch the playback, it's explained and how we arrive here. So let me give a couple of shout outs. Cam, if you're still in the building, or if anybody's interested in being a judge tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I know that may be early for some of you because it's Saturday. You might be drunk tonight, but it's a good environment. It's a good time, y'all. So I'm just going ahead and put that in there if you're interested in the judge so I can lock that down. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. We're going to get on that. I can't wait to get on that soccer, too. Yes, sir. What's up? Fistiana, that's my girl. What's up, girl? I see you. Okay, Kush, I see you. I see you back in here. Ishmael, that's my guy. 513. I see you, man. I might want in. When you say you want in as a judge or what? Because I got to have these backups and these spares. And say, I'll put you down. I'm assuming you saying you want to be a judge or you want in on a fantasy is what you saying. Ishmael, which one you saying? You saying you want to be a judge or you saying you want to get in on that fantasy league? Let me know which one while we're here live in HD so I can go ahead and get your email. I'm going to definitely need your email, and I can send you that right now live in HD. I can put your email in right now and send you. Now, have you, Ishmael, 513, have you played fantasy football before? If you're speaking on fantasy football, have you played fantasy football? Because it get real serious. And yes, it's for bread. We're going to start off light. We're going to start off with $50 for the 12-man league, and we'll let one of the treasurers hold the money. We don't play with people's money over here. We don't play those games. We give you your money out. This is real life stuff. I do fantasy leagues every year. I'm in 2 of them, and I always reserve a third spot for opportunities like this in different leagues and different kind of variety of things. So 513, I'm waiting on your response. You saying fantasy football league, or you talking about you want to be a judge for the debate tomorrow? Okay. Fix, if you're still listening, I might need your help as a judge. Bruce, Gas, if you're still there, I might need your help as a judge. They ask for Bruce and they ask for Blood. So if you listen to this on the playback, please contact me, Blood. I'll contact you. Bruce Gas, I need your information because a lot of people respect your opinion. They like you as the OG, and they want your opinions and your thoughts on their debates. And I think it would be greatly appreciated. So I got to see if Bruce Gas want to do that, and I got to see what people talking about. Let me see some. Taco, thank you for joining me. Truth, thank you for joining me. What's the buy-in? 15, the buy-in gonna be $50. Light work, $50. And if you hit third place, you get your $50 back. Okay, and then we'll probably give $150 to the second place, and then we'll probably get a $400 to the first place guy or gal. There's 8 teams that will make the playoffs. It's 12-man full point PPR, conventional roster, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex between a receiver, tight end, and running back. The defensive special teams are together, the kicker, and that's it. With the quarterbacks, sometimes if you're familiar with the quarterbacks, we will do 6 points for touchdowns for quarterbacks, not the 4. We will do 1 point for 20 yards for the quarterback, not the 25, because it just diminished the quarterback's value and people just wait till the 8th round to get a quarterback. Everybody try to stack running backs. But by making it 1 point per 20 yards and 6 points for touchdown, it brings value and separation to those upper echelons quarterbacks. And then it don't make everybody just wait to draft running backs until the 8th round. So you might have a guy pick a quarterback like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes in the 4th or in the 5th. It just makes it a lot more interesting. Might as well give me my trophy now. Y'all don't want this smoke. Okay, so Fifth-teamer, you play fantasy football then. You sound like a monster. Go ahead and send me your email if you can. I used to have your contact. I don't have it since. Okay, let me see who this is. What's going on, man? What you got? Is you 513?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was good. My bad. I'm in a
Okay, 513.
time. Yeah. I'm trying to tap in on that fantasy football. What's up?
Okay, but hold on. I tell you what, right now, I'm just gonna show you. I'll open it right up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. We can do this live right now. Let me do this. I ain't gonna put you. Drop your email in the back end of the chat so I can send it to you right now while you on the line. Just send it to me in the private chat, and I'm finna send it to you.
I'm in a whip. I'm gonna send it when I get done driving.
Unless you just want to give it to me over the net, I ain't know if you want to do it like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know how you wanna. You want to give me an email now, or you want to wait till you sit down?
Nah, I'm gonna wait till I get down. I just wanted to make sure it was a spot pick. So I need. Now I'm trying to run the bread to talk.
Okay, look. Get my contact is in the back of the private chat. Get that down right now. That's my email, zone6boxing@gmail.com. You can email me or you can reach me. My personal number is in the back of the chat. So I say you a spot. Let me see. 513 say he wants some. I hope you know how to play fantasy football, man. This ain't no boxing, man. So you better be ready.
Come on, man. I do it all, man. We athlete where I'm from.
Okay, yes, Fifth-teamer. If you got a Yahoo email, that'll work out so I can send it to your Yahoo email because that's best aligned with the fantasy football. You can use your Gmail, but make sure you got access to get in your Gmail. That's the only thing. People be forgetting their Gmail address and codes, and then it's hard to get them in. So let me put 513 Boxing Fantasy Football. He said he gonna get with me. He got my email. Give me Zone6Boxing Gmail.
I do about 4 leagues a year. So I got 2 right now, and so I'm trying to fill up about 4. I'm saying like I'm 3 years running. I'm done. So I'm coming to get that bread. I want you to know that.
Oh shit! You gotta tell the rest of them guys that we be waiting on your Fifth-teamer. Let me get what you gonna do. I create a Yahoo email, then I send it to you. Okay, I know Fifth-teamer pretty smart, so she knows zone6boxing@gmail.com. Bruce Gas, the OG, appreciate you. Bruce Gas, we need you as a judge. The guys have asked for you to be a judge tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have a debate, Bruce Gas. If you can jump on and I can just talk to you, you can, OG. They love you. They want your opinion, dog. Spence versus Crawford. Resume debate at 147. Kush versus Black Truth. The judges that they brought up that they wanted was Bruce Gas. They said they wanted blood. And I got Phil Lisa and Cam as backup judges just in case. Bruce Gas, can you confirm or would you confirm your involvement as a judge tomorrow if you're available? These guys want you to do it, so I got to extend the message. All right, so Team, I got you in. I know you'll email me like you say, so I'm not worried about that. 513, I got you, and you going to be in as well. Okay, and Bruce Gas, I greatly appreciate that. Okay, all right, boy, do your thing, enjoy yourself, and when you sit down, I'll be looking for your email, and I'll send you the invite immediately. Okay, Bruce Gas, yep. And thank you, Team. I always love you, I always support you. That's my girl right there, man. She always be solid. Cause we moving furniture around over here from now on, man. We doing all sports. We keeping it cooking. All right, now Bruce Gas, y'all heard that. I see Kush, you happy about that? Bruce Gas is good. It'll be at 11 o'clock tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. I will be online 15 minutes prior because if you're on time, you're late. I'm gonna make sure my technology and stuff is good to go. Make sure your technologies are good to go, and I'm going to lock it in. So, okay, so you want to do both. So we got Bruce Gas as a judge, check. We got Cam as a judge, check. And 513, you saying you want to be a judge. I'll put you down too. But you got to be here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay? I'm going to be on at 10:45, and that's Eastern Standard Time to judge the debate. But let me ask these other guys, and we'll lock it in. And just if you have questions, remember, because there's a chat portion, go back and look at the playback. I ain't gonna beat the dead horse because you guys get it. So let me get on out of here. Let me make sure we recap this. Spence versus Crawford. Kush versus Truth. Kush versus Truth. Resume at 147. Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence debate tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bruce Gas has confirmed that he's the judge. The legend has confirmed that he's the judge. It's going down. Cam said that he would be a judge. I'm going to get in contact with Blood. And we're going to ask the other OG, would he like to be a judge because they requested it. If not, I'm going to ask Phil, and I'm going to go down the list accordingly. 513 also said he would like to be a judge. And we'll go from there. This Tina is on the fantasy. She said she gonna give us that work. 513 also said he want to be a judge and he want to give us that work on that fantasy too. So it's going down. As soon as you guys send me that email for the fantasy, I'm gonna lock you in. I'm gonna put your email in, and I'm gonna send you the invite. Please make sure you know your stuff. Please know what you know your information. So when I send the invite, it ain't going to your mama email, your daddy email, your little sister email, and you're talking about I can't find an invite. I don't see the link zone. The maintenance ain't working. If you play football, fantasy football, and basketball, you should already know this. So that's gonna let me know about you. All right, Fish Teamer. Bruce Gas, we salute that. We look forward to that. Kush, you heard that. Black Truth, you heard that. The OG will be in the building, and he gets to ask questions. So Bruce Gas, if you can, just look back at the playback if you haven't been listening on the format. The second leg, you guys, the judges get to have clarity and ask questions, and we'll take questions from the chat. Now, Fish Team is on 6. I heard you mention Boulder Crest the other day. When I was born, we lived off Boulder Crest. That's right, East Atlanta Zone 6. I am a real person. Like, I'm just not doing YouTube because I do YouTube. I am all around the world. I do a lot of stuff. I lived in Virginia. I've been in Cali. I've been in South America, Europe, and Asia. Been to Florida multiple times. It is what it is. But I'm an East Atlanta Zone 6 boy. But I stayed in Fulton, DeKalb, in Clayton County, Clayco, West Side. I ain't never stayed on the North Side, though. Never stayed on the North Side. I stayed in Lithonia, too, L-Town. So, yeah, I'm an Atlanta boy all the way through and through. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Y'all have a good and blessed day. Appreciate you for stopping by. Let me get this stuff together so we can have a good weekend of boxing, debates, and this fantasy football talk. Zone 6, I'm out.